everyone that's joining us. Thank you for your time and joining us today. Our topic is coronavirus, rethinking everything to enable today's workforce.
At Technology Source, we often refer to the elements of business success. This table allows us to quickly communicate the vast offerings we source on behalf of our clients. These range from cybersecurity, business optimization, software and applications, connectivity, voice and communications, marketing services, mobility, and cloud and infrastructure.
Evolve IP is engaged in three businesses, one which we call collaboration, one which we call WORKSPACES, and obviously contact center, which kind of ties into the first one. We're going to be talking today about the first two boxes there, collaboration and WORKSPACES. There are a lot of collaboration platforms out there like Slack, like Zoom, like Atlassian. What collaboration is really about is that it's a set of tools that enables employees to work from home, be more productive, work together, and it includes a lot of functions like collaborative and persistent chat, file sharing, Brady Bunch audio and video, remote and guest access. For Evolve IP, we are focused exclusively on solutions surrounding Microsoft Teams. So why did we hitch our wagon to Microsoft? Well, I think it's fairly obvious here. Microsoft has owned the desktop since the beginning of time, and they do that today through their Office 365 suite. According to them, 56% of every business in the world has gone to Office 365. Once you get the Office 365 suite, Teams is included in that. 44 million users are logging into Teams on a daily basis. 2 weeks ago, before this outbreak, it was 32 million. So you can see the significance that Microsoft has in the marketplace. 90% of the Fortune 100, 500,000 organizations worldwide. And quite frankly, a stat that came out from IDC was that 72% of employees will be working remotely by 2020. Now, we all know that number's 100% right now. What we've done is we've taken all the good things that Microsoft offers, like their ability to do persistent group chat and their file sharing and their audio and video conferencing, and combined it with our Cisco telephony platform to deliver features like call recording, receptionist, contact center, multi-level auto attendance, analog ports, really to support all the enterprise telephony features that are not available inside of Microsoft Teams. Where do we target this? Well, it's typically targeted to accounts that are over 100 employees. And why? Because it's those enterprises that have requirements that cannot be met with Microsoft Teams alone. These are businesses that we believe that value the concept of having a voice experience that's unified with their collaboration experience. We have done this because we know that there are plenty of people that are adopting Office 365, hence they're adopting Teams and they're running Contact Center. We have a long history with Microsoft as both the gold partner and one of the leading Microsoft CSPs. So businesses that want to conduct all their Microsoft business through Evolve IP find that this is a very compelling solution as well. So if you think about it, as we're migrating people, in fact, let me just go back a second. As we're migrating people to home, what's the biggest challenges that they have? The first challenge is we want them to be able to collaborate, but we don't want to force them to use their cell phone, right? And that's the real true problem that exists in work from home. When you think about it, the concept of working from home on your computer that's not necessarily the company's computer is, how do I get access to all my stuff? Do I have to use a VPN client, right? Am I going to meet all my compliance requirements? So WORKSPACES is really about this next generation approach to end user computing. And what's really happened here is, if you think about the way it was You showed up to your company on your first day. They handed you a PC that was built for you with all these applications on it. And it was built in a particular location. So your workspace was a company-provided PC with legacy applications installed on the PC and delivered in a central location. Well, the world has changed dramatically. Most of those applications today are what we refer to as SaaS-based applications, right? They live on the internet. We're now accessing those applications over multiple devices, from our phone to our watch, to our iPad, to our PC. And guess what? Especially today, we're accessing those applications from a lot of different locations. Hopefully, we'll be able to access those applications from a plane soon, because I don't know how much longer I can take it working from the house. So this concept of applications moving to the cloud is great, except for one problem. Every one of these 17 applications that most of us log into on a daily basis requires a username and password. And for any security professionals on the phone today, you know and I know that we all use the same username and same password for every web-based application that we log into, including our bank. And that really has created a problem for us. So that sort of brings in this concept of workspaces. So when I come to work today, or any day, I do the old Control-Alt-Delete, and I'm given a screen that enables me to access my applications with my username, first initial, last name, and my Active Directory password, which then brings me to a requirement to do what's called multi-factor authentication. So I go to my mobile phone, I open up Google Authenticator, it generates a one-time password token, and then magically brings me to all of my applications. And not just the applications that are hosted at my company's data center, but all the web-based applications that I typically have to remember username and passwords to. So I'm presented my entire computer that I use every single day from any location, right, over any device in a completely secure and compliant fashion. Now, the benefit of a strategy like this, and I'll give you a case in point here. There are three types of users in almost every company, right? There are users like myself that only really access applications that live on the internet. So case in point, I go to americanexpress.com to book my airfare. I go to concur.com to do my expense report. I go to adp.com to look at my paycheck, right? And I go to salesforce.com to get into my CRM. Rather than have to have multiple username and multiple passwords, I log into Clear Login once, and Clear Login securely logs me in to all of those solutions. If you go to my accounting department, however, you'll not only find the same requirement on the left, but in accounting, they have some legacy applications like QuickBooks, like Microsoft Dynamics that they need to run finance, that are legacy applications that are typically installed on the PC and supported in a client-server environment. We're going to take those applications and we're going to virtualize them, and they're going to look just like a web-based application. Finally, if you're familiar with a technology called VDI, or Desktop as a Service, there are a few users inside of the company that require multiple applications to be installed and running at the same time, right? So at the end of the day, what's really important to you, the customer, is what is this going to cost me to give everybody an experience that doesn't require that they have a company-provided PC with a VPN access and multiple usernames and passwords. A couple of years ago, that was known as Desktop as a Service. And that's a one-size-fits-all approach. In the workspaces, what we're really saying is, who needs access to the web? Who needs access to just a couple of applications? And last but not least, who needs access to a complete virtualized desktop? At the end of the day, when dollars and cents make sense, the workspaces is a much more cost-effective way to run your business virtually than to do it through VDI DaaS. See, the Azure desktop is desktop as a service, right? Now the question becomes, the Azure desktop is, does everybody need a full desktop? That really is what that comes down to. What we're trying to do is create profiles of users so that financially it makes better sense for the company. One, it's considerably more cost effective. Two, why would you want to give somebody a $100 desktop if all they really need to do is get access to things like Salesforce.com? If we're talking about workspaces and there are very few applications that we need to virtualize, it could be 2 weeks to a month. If it's much more complicated than that, we could run as long as 60 days. I'll close out with a couple of, I hate to use the term, offers that we have for people, but again, we're trying to help as many people out as possible. We have 3 options in our voice solutions. One is, if you're not running Teams, as a gold partner, we can give you a Teams license for free. If you are running Teams and you're looking for an integrated voice solution, we'll allow you to do that on a month-to-month basis. If you are not a Teams shop and are more comfortable running Cisco Voice, again, we can also deliver that to you over a soft client on a month-to-month basis. Workspaces, if you're strictly looking for clear login, single sign-on, multi-factor authentication, we will deliver that free during the outbreak. With applications and desktop as a service, sort of same thing. We'll actually deliver this to you on a month-to-month basis without requiring a long-term contract. So thank you guys for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Join us every Tuesday from now till May at 10 a.m. Pacific Time for the Technology Source Virtual Roundtable Series.